Hello everyone and welcome back to Xbox Nation. My name is Fletcher and this is a video where we take a look at the upcoming Xbox and Xbox Game Pass games for this week and to really see if any of them are worth your time and or money. Even though we are certainly getting towards the end of this year, we still have some great games to look forward to, even though it's definitely getting a little bit quieter with the holidays on our doorstep. With that though, let's just dive right into the games coming our way for this week. If you've been on Xbox Game Pass for quite some while now, you may remember a smaller title called Kill It With Fire. It sort of became a little cult favourite amongst many on the service, and it was very fun but also very good for some quick gamer score. Well, in some news last week, Kill It With Fire 2 will also be landing on the 25th of November, and although I personally haven't played it, the reviews for this one are incredibly strong across the board. Apparently this one takes place across an interdimensional journey as the spiders are taken over yet again, but in a much larger way. I have done some digging as well, and it looks like this newest entry has a much different gameplay style to it, but it doesn't actually deviate too much away from its original gameplay loop, and since the release it's actually been very highly rated over on PC within the early access period. I do highly recommend you keep an eye on this one, especially as it comes to Xbox Game Pass this week, and again I do hope it has some easy gamer score as well. A surprising sci-fi horror game also lands onto Xbox on the very same day, and I'm really surprised there is basically no hype or even a mention of this game releasing at all. AILA looks pretty incredible, especially as it's coming from such a small indie team, and although I can certainly see a little blemish here and there, it looks like it could be a real hidden gem. It's actually got quite a cool story about it, as you essentially play as a sole game tester for a revolutionary new fictional AI, but of course things go incredibly wrong very quickly. The gameplay loop essentially has you having to evade and outrun a ritualistic cult, solve some very gruesome puzzles, engage in visceral combat against the medieval undead, and so much more. Again, this is coming from a very small indie team, and it's totally worth checking out if you're interested in a pretty scary looking horror title for this week. Banishers Ghost of New Eden is probably one of the most incredible games that somehow slipped under the radar last year, and it just deserves way more attention. Developed by Don't Nod, who are the same studio behind stuff like Life is Strange and Toussaint and the upcoming Athlon, this action RPG lets you play as two lovers who also happen to be banishers, and these are skilled ghost hunters basically protecting the living from restless spirits. You can then switch between both characters on the fly within the game, and you'll be using their unique abilities in both combat and during investigations. For me, the world of New Eden is absolutely gorgeous, atmospheric, and way deeper than I ever expected, and it has a surprisingly rich detective work amongst it, and combat feels amazing once it clicks with you. If you missed it at launch, now's the perfect time to jump into it, especially with it hitting Xbox Game Pass on the 25th of November. If you've been craving an alternative game to Forza Motorsport or just want more real competition within that sort of sim racing space, then Project Motor Racing might be exactly what you're looking for when it does hit Xbox this week. It's actually been built by a brand new studio that's made up of veteran developers responsible for shaping sim racing classics such as GTR Racing and also Project Cars. The game will launch with 70 plus vehicles across 10 racing classes. There will also be 27 track layouts and licensed cars from the likes of Lamborghini, Aston Martin, Audi, and so many more. It's all powered by a brand new physics engine that's promising unmatched handling realism, and that's all alongside its dynamic weather systems, full day and night cycles, online racing, and a full single player career. The early footage so far does look pretty promising, and early previews have been pretty positive as well, and I'm really curious to see how it lands with fans of this genre for this week. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord is already available on Xbox Game Pass, and currently over the past year, we've finally got a full look at its new Viking themed expansion known as War Sails. This is a major single player add-on that is bringing to us naval warfare to Bannerlord for the very first time. In this instance, you'll be able to command ships, lead full-scale sea battles, and build your fortune through maritime domination. That also means mastering boarding combat, managing entire fleets, and upgrading, repairing, and trading between ports to control crucial ocean routes. The expansion also introduces a brand new Viking-inspired faction, giving you fresh units, culture, and even tactics to experiment with. After a very long delay, War Sails finally arrives on the Xbox Series X and S consoles this week, and honestly, I just can't wait to dive into it. I have to say, this is a pretty weird name for a game, but it's called I'm on Observation Duty 8, and this game is actually putting you in the chair of a surveillance operator working for a mysterious organization, and your only job is pretty simple, in theory. Essentially, you'll have to watch live security cameras and report every strange supernatural anomaly that you catch before things spiral out of control. This is then set across 6 unsettling levels, and you'll spot everything from tiny environmental changes to full-on otherworldly intruders creeping into your view. Every report fixes an anomaly family, but miss too many and the night will definitely be over for you. This is actually the latest and most ambitious entry in this viral franchise, and it actually kicked off the entire sort of spot the difference horror craze that was streamed by millions and loved by players around the world. I am curious to see how this new one lands though when it does arrive onto Xbox this week. Another little indie is called Coco, and this is a 3D action roguelike that throws you into a shifting world of dreams, fractured memories, and living nightmares. In doing some digging, you essentially wake with no recollection of who you are, and you're trapped inside a surreal realm known as the Uncertain. Your only guide then is Coco, a disturbing and trustworthy figure who promises answers if you descend into the pit, and then confront the monsters born from your very own mind. As you can probably see on screen now, combat is very fast, fluid, and punishing, and it pushes you to sort of dodge, strike, and adapt to enemies that swarm you from every direction. Each run into the hole is completely different as well, with brand new layouts, challenges, and twists ranging from darkness to time-based trials. It kind of gives me vibes of sort of Moonlighter 2, I know that only recently released, but in terms of its sort of 3D roguelike aspect, is very similar to that, or even potentially the sort of roguelike I did try out a little while ago called Lost in Random: The Eternal Die. Still though, this one looks really good, and obviously the deeper you go, the closer you get to the ultimate truth, and if that does sound really interesting, the game launches on the 28th of November. In case you somehow missed the announcement over the past week, and I personally wouldn't blame you as the advertisement for this has basically been non-existent, Silent Hill 2 is now available on your Xbox consoles. Konami and Bloober Team have basically released their game onto the Xbox Store, and it even includes an immediate and juicy 50% discount. This will now put you in the shoes of James as he's investigating a letter from his late wife, and he then returns to where they made so many memories, that being Silent Hill. What he finds is a ghost town prowled by disturbing monsters and cloaked in some deep fog, and things here get pretty wild. If you never came across this game last year, Silent Hill 2 Remake ended up being actually one of the best rated games of 2024, and it racked up an 87 Metascore across both PlayStation 5 and PC. Again, I am still surprised that Xbox didn't do a bigger announcement for this one, but again, it is out right now if you want to dive into it. For 3 years, Xbox fans have been waiting and watching for Dave the Diver to come to Xbox, but now their patience has finally paid off with this popular fishing and sushi restaurant management game shadow dropping, and it's now available. This news was playfully announced by showing Dave the Diver holding, of course, the Xbox Ally X, indicating that it's the perfect game to play on the handheld gaming PC. The reason why so many love this game though is due to its gorgeous pixel art and variety of characters, but then the gameplay is also just so incredible. It's such a mix of fishing, exploration, and more. Really don't want to give it away, as this game is such a joy to experience without actually knowing anything. Again, it is available right now, and the price is pretty decent, even though it hasn't got any sort of launch discount about it. Another shadow drop that we received last week was for Total Chaos, and it also joins Xbox Game Pass for Ultimate and PC Game Pass subscribers. As per its Xbox store listing, Total Chaos is a gripping survival horror experience that darkens the fragile space between truth and madness. After washing up on the shore of an old and decaying fort, you are compelled to venture inward by a cryptic transmission from someone who seems like a friend. However, of course, as you delve deeper within the fort, you realize that your life is very much at stake. I did mention in my previous video that this game has only had one review currently and is very positive, which is just so fantastic to hear. If you don't know, I will be streaming this game as of tomorrow, that being Monday the 24th of November, with the time stated on screen now. So do feel free to come along and see me squirm, as I absolutely hate horror games, and I've also enabled text-to-speech to freak me out even more. Now, if you weren't content with all of those announcements and drops for both Dave the Diver, Total Chaos, and even Silent Hill 2, well, how about another? CloverPit is the roguelike slot machine nightmare and is not only available on Xbox right now, but it's also on Xbox Game Pass for Ultimate, Premium, and PC members. This one is described as the demonic love child of both Balatro and Buckshot Roulette, and it essentially locks you in a rusty cell with a slot machine and an ATM. You then have one goal while you're there: pay off your debt or fall to ruin. Thankfully, you can manipulate the machine to turn your odds in your favor. You'll need to do whatever it takes to earn your freedom, and it gets bloody wild. It's one that I've had personal fun with over on PC for a while, and now thanks to Xbox Game Pass, I can't wait to dive into it again. Whilst this one does definitely look a little bit simple, it's an incredibly addictive game that you just need to play. Do any of the Xbox Game Pass titles look any good to you, or are you quite intrigued by the shadow drop of Silent Hill 2 onto our Xbox consoles? I'd be keen to hear your thoughts on it in the comments below. As always, do smash that like button as well, as it helps me sort of branch out to see anyone within the Xbox realm on the YouTube algorithm, and do subscribe as well for more Xbox content on a daily basis. Whilst here though, and if you want to check out some more awesome Xbox content here on the channel, why don't you check out my review of Black Ops 7. I recently had a chance to obviously play this game. I played it through the campaign, multiplayer, zombies, and even the endgame mode, and I have a ton of thoughts, and unfortunately it's not looking very good.